All right, we have to say our prayer over and everything, huh?
Well, it's a new one. I mean, God, He will provide the prayers too.
Yeah, maybe he didn't want that prayer. No, I'm just like,
Well,
do it over.
maybe wasn't good enough.
Give me a better one.
My bad, Dad. Maybe he wants you to pray.
No, you pray.
All
I
right.
can pray. I don't mind.
I'll pray.
All right.
We can both pray.
Okay.
It's AJ.
And Dara. Here we are, deep skydiving.
Skeep diving.
Skeep skydiving.
Yeah.
Deep skydiving, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Deep Sky.
Deep skydiving.
Oh, she got. Go ahead.
I don't know. That's
Go ahead.
not
Do it
really.
again. I missed it.
I don't have much more. Than
Oh,
that.
all right.
So, deep skydiving.
Deep skydiving. Father, we thank you right now. Thank you, Father, just for being a God who looks high, who sits high and looks low, and you still regard us, Father. There's so many of us, but you count the hairs on our heads. So you know each and every one of us individually, and you care for the things that we care about, Father. So we love you for that. We love you that all that you've done for us, all that you're doing for us, and all that you will do, Father. So I just ask that you have your way at this time. Let us come to you with pure hearts, Father, asking for forgiveness for our sins and everything in our life that dishonored you. We come to you asking you for guidance, Father, that you'll be with our words when we speak. Beat our words out our mouth, Father. Like already be there, even when we speak, that our words may edify you, Father, and that when people hear them, it may bring encouragement to them, Father. It may bring even conviction, Father. Let them know where they may be wrong and where they could fix themselves, Father, and do it all for betterment of relationship with you and relationship with each other, Father, especially with men and women, Father. Heal that division in our community between men and women, Father, and we just want to be a part of that. We want to be used by you. So have your way in our lives. Have your way at this time, Father. We thank you. We love you. In your precious Son, Yahushua name, I ask you all these things.
Amen.
Amen.
I don't have anything to add. It was so good. Welcome to another episode of Deep Skydiving.
Cause I think you're hot. Sexy. All right.
Well, I'm Dara still.
Yeah, I'm still AJ. It ain't nothing changed.
No, we're still the same people.
Yeah, I might be somebody different next week.
But pause, because you was about to make me miss my giving you your flowers again. Yeah.
I thought we was going straight into it.
No, we're not. We're
All
going to
right.
give you your flowers on air so that people know that you are appreciated.
Know that I'm
so
great.
I said in the last time that we tried to record, when the cord wasn't in, that I wanted to appreciate this
Which
guy
is my
here
fault.
for being so awesome and so amazing, and that his efforts are not overlooked. And that I really appreciate you just for putting in the work, like whatever work that you do, whether it's large, small, whether you believe that it's super, super large, like I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Because sometimes we do put in a lot of effort, and while it might seem like huge efforts to us, because obviously we're doing it, we don't know how other people don't know how inconvenienced we are. Sometimes other people don't realize that, or they don't acknowledge it because they just don't know.
They just don't know.
But I just want to let you know that I appreciate you.
Thank you.
So
No, I appreciate
on behalf
you also.
of, yes, on behalf of myself and anybody who watches or listens.
You guys are welcome. You're definitely welcome. You know, I try to do, I can't say that I've been doing my best, but I've been doing almost my best.
Okay. Well, I mean, listen.
I feel like there's always better.
Well, it's not even almost your best. I feel like you show up the way that you should. Like you are doing your best and just being what you can right now, what your capacity is.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So I want to thank you too, though, and give you your flowers like I always do.
And some champagne showers.
You want me to give you some champagne showers?
No.
No, but I do genuinely appreciate you, like I always tell you, you know.
do.
And I love you, and I know that the people will love you too.
I love you too.
Yeah. So
And I'm grateful for that. And we do, guys, share these type of things with each other off air. But I just wanted to do it in front of everybody because, again, you know, sometimes you might have a down day and you might need to just
I know, right?
watch this and just know how appreciated you are.
Sometimes you just gotta really be reminded how great you are.
That's it. If you can't remind yourself, because sometimes
right?
we just don't have it for ourselves either. That's why I be trying to tell people, it's impossible for me to have it for you because I just don't have it for me.
And that's great that you recognize that in that time. Because even when I'm down, I have it for people.
That's really nice. I
Like,
I feel like I've heard that before. Yeah, just
Yeah.
how you just go beyond, even if you really
I
don't
lived
have
like
it.
that.
Yeah.
I've lived like a long, dark season where I was still like ministering to people and trying to encourage them, all the while I was going through the earthly version of hell.
Right.
So
Wow.
yeah,
It's pretty heavy.
but not to bring that to that because that's not what today's about.
No.
so-
But we will touch on the last topic was emotional manipulation.
Mm-hmm.
And we dusted kind of over different things that you can do, different tips that you can do in order to call out the emotional manipulation
spade
that
a
you may
spade.
be experiencing.
Mm-hmm.
So the first thing is we're saying that everybody should do a deep dive into what it is.
Yes,
So you can call a thing a thing.
Yeah, get your own understanding of it.
Yes, because we both realized that we experienced a lot of emotional manipulation, but we just didn't know what it was at the time.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are able to know what it is, then you can do something about it.
Yes.
Which brings us to the next topic, next tip, which was basically being able to call it out when it's happening.
Mm-hmm.
You do not want to, and mind you, maybe right away you don't even really know that you're experiencing it. It may take a day or two or whatever, but just being able to let the other person know, like, you're not going to do that. Like that you're being manipulative at this point, because what happens is it's the same thing as, you shedding light and darkness, it'll like make all of that scatter. So you're not going to be able to continue to abuse me in that way. I'm calling it out.
And make sure you're not the one doing the abusing.
That part.
Like if somebody says something to you about it, receive it.
Yes.
Do you think if somebody called you out on your emotional manipulation, like early on in a relationship, that you would
continue on doing it?
like receive it? Like,
I think
am I
so.
really-
Yeah. I would say that I do. I would, because again, even if it's something that I never considered that it was that, like I would go down the rabbit hole of like trying to figure out like what that is. Yeah.
what it is.
What about you?
Because I don't want to be gaslit.
Right. Would
Oh.
you like go down the rabbit hole, or like would you be
I'm
like,
always doing
I'm
that.
not. Yeah, me too.
Every day. Like I'm reflecting every day. If somebody says something to me, even if I don't like what they said, I'm always like, well, is there any truth to it? Like, did I?
Yes.
Am I doing this? Like, or am I this type of person? So I'm always doing that.
And then have you ever been in those instances where somebody tells you that you are doing a thing, and then it's like you laugh at it because it's not true?
Yes. I don't know if I laughed at it. I probably got mad at it.
But see, but here's the thing. The reason why I use the word laugh is not because of, it being a defense mechanism, but I do feel like there are some things that penetrate because they are true, and some things that just fly over your head because it's not, like I've been given, it's certain things that I'd be like, why am I mad at that? Like, why am I so mad? It's like, it must be true. Like, it must be something that I done said. Like, let me sit with that,
Yeah, it's possible.
Yeah. So yeah, any more tips that you might have?
Only tip I have is don't emotionally manipulate somebody.
Yeah. Or try to stay out of relationships with people who are that way, considering the fact that they don't ever have to change.
I think a lot of it comes from like just people who are not healed.
Yeah.
From whatever comes in the past. I think because manipulation is like it goes right along with selfishness, because you're only doing it for selfish reasons.
Yeah. For
And
something
so-
that you desire, your
right.
outcome. Mm-hmm.
Because you don't, if you're afraid to be hurt, or you're afraid for something to happen that opposes your good feelings or something, you're likely to try to manipulate that thing. I think that's natural for us.
Yeah.
So
Agreed.
if you it takes a level of maturity and growth for you to really understand what it is that you're doing, and knowing that it's not healthy for your relationship.
Right.
So yeah.
There we go. So here we are, creating healthy relationships. The new topic for this week is about consistency. I'll read
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
the irony.
It's probably gonna whoop me upside the head.
Yeah, I don't know. It's probably going with me too. But consistency, why it matters more to women than men. I feel like that was already biased.
Does it matter more to women than men? What do you believe?
That's what it should be. So I'm learning.
Tell me.
In living my long life, well, my 37 years of life, that it matters to both.
All right.
I can't say which one it matters more to, because apparently it matters to both.
What do you feel? Who do you feel it matters more to?
I used to think that it mattered more to women,
That's what I think.
but I'm learning that it matters just as much to men.
Okay. Well, you about to
maybe
school me
men-
because I'm not. I've been racking my brain all day today and yesterday was like. I even said, well, I'll wait to say this. But I
Well,
was
no,
like, I don't know.
I
what
want to know
we
why you
require.
think that it's just a woman thing,
I don't think it's just a woman thing. I just think it matters.
or matters more. Sorry.
Because when we think about stuff like in our relationships with women, we're not. I think consistency is like one of the last words that we would ever think of.
Okay, why is that though?
But because it's not something that we're looking for. Like you hear women, I just want a man who's consistent. Like you've never heard a man say that.
I have.
You have?
Yes.
Is he gay?
No.
Is he feminine?
No.
No. I don't know. I've never heard a man say that. Like I'm just trying to find a woman that's consistent.
But
Like
it
consistent
doesn't
with
mean. So you're right. It doesn't mean that the person is gay. And
I was
it
just
doesn't mean.
joking.
No. I'm just
Yeah.
saying like. It doesn't mean that they're effeminate, but it also means. It could mean. Here's what I want to say. It could mean though that he's looking for something that maybe he's gotten from those type of people, like a woman. You know what I mean? Like it's just a learned behavior. Like he doesn't necessarily like men, and he doesn't
I
necessarily.
got you. I get what you're saying.
Yeah, it's just something
Yeah.
maybe when the way he was raised, like he's looking for something that's opposite of that, or maybe he's looking for something that's consistent with that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
That's
he's looking
consistent
for
with the
consistency.
consistency. I got you.
Yeah. So so that's the reason why I say that. I personally still believe that as a woman, consistency meant a lot to me. I can't say that it meant more to me than it meant to the guys that I was with, because apparently I've talked to two guys who that has been a thing. Like consistency has been a thing for them, and as it pertains to me, which I didn't even notice because it was a conversation that I was having with my business partner, and she said that was the second time that she had heard somebody say something up to her or heard something about me not being consistent, and I was like,
About not being consistent?
right, and I was like, that's so weird.
I think you sitting here thinking about it, I'm like, you're probably the most consistent person in my life.
And that's what I was thinking to ask her, like, well, why don't you tell me how you feel, because we've been in business partnership for years, like.
That's amazing.
But then again, it's romantic relationships too. Maybe that's
are
where
they
I'm.
shallow things?
So the only thing I could say is in my last relationship, the only reason why he would say that I was inconsistent was because I feel like there were a lot of times when he was absent, or I wouldn't talk to him, and so forth and so on. Mm-hmm. But I think that has a lot to do with connection. But we'll touch on that later. What? Go ahead.
That sounds so weird to me.
Why?
I legit never heard a man say that.
What, that I like consistency?
Because of you not talking to me. Like we'll just talk to you. We'll reach out to you.
But it's not. No. I was just saying that was probably where I went wrong with that. But it could have been, the lack of touching. It could have been, with men, because I'm just thinking in regards to a man. Maybe it's the respect issue. Maybe it's the touching. I mean, I can't think of any other
I'm
points where you would
legit
need
trying to sit here.
Communication. That's a thing for men.
I'm legit just trying to. I don't even think of that. Well, let's go into it. Let's what you got. Let's get into it because something will come to me. I only can think of one thing that I feel women are not consistent with.
What?
It's the obvious.
Sex.
Yes.
Yeah, but we weren't having sex.
So, look. All right, let's go into it.
Okay.
Because I don't want to say anything that might.
Yeah, and I mean, but I think that's important to highlight because of the fact that, like, if we are talking about me being inconsistent, we weren't even doing that. Like, well, then what?
Yeah, that's why I said I didn't want to be the one to say it, but go ahead.
Okay, so first, consistency in relationship is a repetitive behavior that leads to trust and confidence for each mate. Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, it does.
Yeah, because when I think of consistency, that's what I think of too. Like just repetitive behaviors.
I'm just trying to think of how, because me personally, I'm not one who looks for repetitive behaviors. Mm-hmm. So I recognize your consistency like after like something has been met or something. Mm-hmm. Like it'll take because it's not something that I'm looking for. It'll something where I might just be sitting by myself one day. I'm like, damn, she really like buys me food every single time. And then now I'm noticing it. I'm like, she really goes out her way to do this, like every single time. Like that's but it's not something that I'm looking for. Like how you were saying a couple of episodes ago, if you started out seeing her every day, and then now you don't see her every day, like this is something women are looking for, because that's not something that I would be looking for. Like if we start a relationship and you come over my house every day, it's still not something that I'm expecting. But if after a long period of time and you started doing it, then I'd be like, damn, we real life been spending every day together. Like you really come over but it's still not something that's going to, I don't feel like it adds or takes away from how I see you, like how I value you or anything. Like if you stopped coming over every day, I'm not going to feel like, oh, she's inconsistent.
So what do you think that means though, that like you're able to just take the person as they are, or do you not study patterns, or do you not think that patterns are a thing? Do you feel like people should be able to move how they want to move?
Man,
Like,
I think it's a combination. I think it's a combination of all of them. Just because of my personality type, I'm not the one to put limits on anybody. Like you could come over every day, I'm fine with it. You could not come over every day. You could come over once a week. But we could go out or whatever. It doesn't matter to me.
Right.
Like
And I appreciate that. I think so. Do you notice? So are you one of those people who you don't really know, like when your partner or your significant other is going through something because of the fact that you don't really have sort of that expectation of the relationship, or that consistency is not something that comes into question? So you'll find out later that like that person was thrown off.
Nah, I don't believe that, because I don't. You can tell when something's wrong. Like I almost immediately know when something's wrong. So I do have a good sense of discernment, and I pray a lot. And so I might not say something. I might not say anything immediately. I might not say something as soon as I peep it, unless I feel the need to. But nah, I don't think like I have to see you every day or talk to you every day to know. Like it's been times where God will just reveal something to me, and then I just reach out to somebody and be like, "Hey, look, what's going on? Like, how you feeling?" Or like something strange will happen. Like when that day I was like, man, I just felt like light. I felt free. And then you was like, that's strange that you felt that. And then we had talked about it afterwards. Certain things like that will happen. I don't think because I don't talk to you every day, or we don't have this, I feel like that's a shallow level of consistency for me. Other people might need it, but for me, I feel like that's just like surface level stuff.
So would you say that because it's that shallow level, then is that the reason why consistency isn't like high up on your list?
Yeah, and I struggle with consistency. I could say that.
Oh, okay.
In certain areas, like I struggle with consistency because of that. And so, like that's why I said women do need it more than.
Right. Go ahead. Go ahead. No.
Go ahead, because I want to know what you're about to say.
Well, no, that's I was gonna say that's why I think it's strange.
Why?
Because you're here telling me that it's not really that big on your list because you have a problem with consistency. Like this is something that you can honestly say.
Yeah.
And I'm saying that it is high on my list, but I'm getting described as inconsistent, and I'm usually the most consistent person. You know what I mean?
But just keep in mind that it's not me that called you inconsistent.
Oh yeah. No, I know.
So,
and I really don't honestly think that that's what it is. I'm being completely blind. Like I really don't think that that's what it is. I'm open to that being the case, but I don't really think that if I literally sat down with him and I was like, well, tell me what what you mean by being inconsistent, he would be able to tell me what consistency really is, because he wasn't consistent either.
Yeah, I don't see that. I don't see you being inconsistent, because you're very like structured, calculated. Like your days are set out.
Yeah.
So I can't see that being a problem with you. Like with me, you'd be like, I am so sick of this dude. I do not.
I think I've gotten to know you so much though, or so well, that probably wouldn't be an issue for me. Yeah. If that was a level that we would go to or something like that, like just in exploring that. And that would be funny to see if I would still be like that, even knowing you. Yeah, apples and oranges. But I will say though that in experiencing it, like that consistency of or having a guy who was very like calculated too and very planned out. Like for me, it wasn't all that. It wasn't the greatest thing that I could have.
Yeah.
And I'm not meaning like that in spite or anything like that, but just, you know how you think you need something and you get it and you be like,
Thought it was.
hate to be ungrateful, but
Yeah, it's not what I thought it would be.
no, because it was
Yeah.
very like, tell me what day that we can hang out. And it's just like, why does it have to be a day? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
That's
or
what
why
I
does it
would
have
have
to
figured.
be?
That's what I would have figured about you though. Like,
Yeah, but apparently
let's do this
that's
every
what I thought
Thursday.
that I
Let's do this
needed,
every
and I didn't
Tuesday.
need that.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's like a
But-
breath of fresh air. It's like a relief to my ears. You know how you got the pressure in your ears, and you just swallow it. Poof. That's what that is for me, for a woman to say that. Like, thank you. We can be free. We can just
Yeah,
No
but I do
chains
feel
are
like
holding
even
me.
with that, like I can't say that I'm completely non-rigid. Like I think that there's still a balance. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's just gonna be days like I'm not gonna want to go out because I haven't planned for it.
yeah.
But it's gonna be times when I want to kind of, and maybe that's the inconsistency, right? Like I can dabble in both. It just
I
really
think
depends
that's
on the
life,
time.
man. I can't see. That's why I can't put too much emphasis. So I don't struggle with inconsistency for my life. I struggle with inconsistency when I want to bring somebody else into my life.
Gotcha.
Like when I'm involved with somebody else. But if it's something that I want to do, a plan that I set for myself, or a goal that I set for myself, and I really want it, like I think I'm just consistent on accident. And I don't even think it's just consistent. It's just that this is what I'm working towards. And so that's where, because I'm more task oriented than I am people oriented.
Gotcha.
And so when I see something, that's what I want. That's what I'm gonna do, and I'm just gonna keep going until I got it. But I guess with relationships, I just kind of compute differently. And so my structural side kicks in with tasks, and my more spontaneous side kicks in with relationships with people.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
So how are you? You're familiar with the honeymoon phase?
I mean, I don't think it takes a rocket scientist to understand it, but yeah, go ahead.
But for anybody who is not clear on it, that's the initial stage of your partnership, and that is the attraction, the chemistry, and the infatuation. How are you in the honeymoon phase? Like, are you very much like, do you fall under those categories of, you know, well, I'm super attracted to her, I'm infatuated by her, and I got this chemistry with her?
So you mean, like, am I consistent in that stage?
No, because that's
Or what you
not, I
mean?
don't, that's not, so according to my research, that's not where the consistency kicks in. Chemistry is not indicative of consistency. Infatuation is not indicative of consistency, and neither is, you know, your attraction.
But I think that's where, you could correct me if I'm wrong, women start to pay attention to it. Because that's when you like, you used to call me every day. You know, we used to go out almost every weekend. And we used to, and I think that's what messes me up. We spoke on that before. I think that's what, like, I kicked myself in the butt doing that.
Yeah, I mean, and you're right though, because that is when it starts. Like, we don't forget anything, right? Because if you were like this really happy-go-lucky man in the beginning, like, and then you shut it down, you know what I'm saying? When there's a commitment involved, it's just like, and that's just if it's a shutdown, right? Because some people know how to do that balance. I don't think that I've been fortunate to be in a situation where that balance was had. And I think that I'm reactive in that way. And that's probably my downfall is I'm just reacting off the fact that, like, you're not being consistent, so neither will I be. It's petty.
Definitely.
Super petty. But
And
it's
I
also
wouldn't even-
reactive.
I would. The funny thing is, I would not have a problem with it. You're thinking that, I would be thinking, she gets it.
Right.
I'm gonna be thinking she finally gets it whole time.
I
You're
can see how
bothered.
that could happen.
Yeah.
But I guess with somebody who, like, I was with, it's like, but you're not being the same person that you were either. And it's just like, well, how do you expect for me to be able to operate that way? How do you expect for me to be free when I feel like a caged bird, or, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
so,
How were you in the honeymoon phase?
in the honeymoon phase, I'm very intentional. I have a lot of intentionality because I'm trying to get to know a person. But what I have to realize about myself is, again, it is about connection, and I do feel like connection is like it's like a slow burn. It's not really something that you automatically know. I think chemistry is automatically something that you can know, right? Like we get along, we joke and laugh.
You
get
think
my
it's something
jokes.
that like automatic, like immediate, like
Chemistry?
yeah,
Yes.
I know a
You never
dude.
had that situation where there was like that magnetism.
Yeah.
You go up to a girl and
No.
she gets all your jokes and like
Oh, yeah.
stories and and like you
No.
just kind of have that real easy conversation.
Oh yeah. No,
You never had that.
it's like nah. Yeah, I had it before.
Okay, because sometimes it
But
don't
it
be with
wasn't-
girls. Sometimes it can be with a guy. Like
Yeah, but sometimes like I know a guy, and this happened to me before also, but we just didn't get together. Where you don't even like the other person at first, and you don't even know why. You probably just like I don't like them, and then later on, it's like y'all built the chemistry, and you was like, you know what, you are cool. You know, and with the girls, you know what, you ain't ugly. You know, you wasn't attractive at first, but you ain't really ugly. You never felt that way about a man. Like you wasn't physically attracted to him, but then after you got to know him, a little chemistry. done brewed
yeah, I
up,
think
and you
that's
was
possible.
Like, this dude
Yeah.
is this woman is actually attractive.
Yeah, I think
Yeah.
that's possible. Yeah,
That happened to me, and we built a chemistry, and then it ended.
yeah, because chemistry doesn't keep relationships.
I believe that also.
Chemistry is not. Some people confuse that with consistency, and it's not the same.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's why I love the infatuation part of
No,
relationships.
it's very difficult.
Yeah,
But I
it
mean, you
is.
have to get through it. Like that's the whole thing. That's the reason why it's coined a phrase, honeymoon phase, because you literally are coming off the high of like meeting somebody and like you
So it's
spend all this
something
time.
new.
You do all the
Yeah.
stuff that you never would do and all this other stuff, and then you get to that point where it's like y'all looking around like, I got to know you and I really don't like you. I
See?
think that's okay.
See, that's what I was talking about with that whole romance part.
It happens with me.
Yeah, you get. I know.
Just being honest.
I'm just glad.
But how do you know that you don't like a person until you know them? It's not possible. So I don't feel bad
Yeah.
about it. I'm not going to apologize because of the fact that that I get to know somebody and I'm just like,
Never mind.
We're better as friends. Thank you. Next. But
Ruthless.
it's really bad.
Ruthless young lady.
It's bad, and that's the reason why I think and I have to be better about this. But I think it's the reason why I don't let a whole lot of people in, because I don't want to be that person who's like, oh, okay, I've gotten to know you, and I don't feel like this is it, right?
That's tough. That
It's
hurts.
very tough. It hurts.
It hurts
it does
me, and
hurt.
it wasn't even me, and it hurts me.
I mean, but it does hurt. But I mean,
Yeah.
I feel like I've been on the other side of that coin too. The difference is
Yeah.
that there are a lot of people who just hold on to it. And they're not. Like, it's people who are married right now, who've been married for 25, 30 years, who are not at all connected to their husbands or their wives. And they're miserable.
I don't think you could be married 30 years and you was like not connected to your spouse.
Yes, it is possible, honey.
That's crazy.
Okay, well, leave it in the comments,
Unless,
y'all.
unless y'all
let
just
your boy
got
know.
married, and it was like, forget it. We ain't never going to divorce, but been separated.
Some
or
people
something.
you can literally do tasks and participate in life with somebody who you're not connected to. It's almost like a business transaction. Like, the house is going to be run perfectly. Like, the kids are going to be good. Like, the money's in the bank. But you really don't connect with them. A lot of people cheat because of that.
Yep.
And they have affairs with,
Why
people
stay then?
outside the home. Because in their mind's eye, it's like, when I don't want to, sometimes it's about the kids. Sometimes it's because everything is
Terrible
very
reason to stay.
comfortable. Yeah, I agree. Some people stay, for different reasons. Like, we've been together this long.
Yeah, so we might as well love each other. Mm-hmm. That's my thing. If we've been together
And
this
I do
long.
feel like you can work it out.
I
I
do
just told
too.
them yesterday, I don't think that cheating is the worst thing that can happen to a relationship. As a matter of fact, sometimes
It's
people
the
come
best
back
thing that can
stronger.
happen.
Yeah, some people come
I've
back
witnessed
stronger
it.
after a cheating. Yeah, incident. Me too. I've witnessed it in a lot of people relationships. Like, and really because they were being transparent, because they didn't have to share. But it's just like, man, like, when I sat down with him and really listened to what the issue was, then I realized, like, it was never really about, the fact that they wanted to cheat, more than it was like they weren't really ready for the situation that they were in. And I think that that's decent to say.
I
If you
mean,
want to be honest.
I about to say, maybe decent to say, but I still think it's pretty messed up. But
Yeah. Love is hard.
that's another episode.
Absolutely. So I have just wrote down some things that or signs of partners showing consistency. And I guess we can like
Oh, I thought you were about to say showing inconsistency.
no.
I was about to be
consistency.
like, I'm just go ahead and put my head down for this one.
No. But we can't talk about how we've been inconsistent if we have been in these categories or these signs.
I have been inconsistent in all of them.
Okay.
I don't even know what they are. I just know it. Go ahead. Let's see.
So why do you feel like, because I noticed that you have this very cavalier sort of like, this is just the way I am.
Nah, I just know that I'm a screw up. So
But are you going to do something about that?
I mean, I ain't in a relationship right now. So,
But can you
know.
practice? So that's a good question. Can you practice being consistent, outside of that?
how? I need somebody to be consistent with.
Well, you can practice with your friends, no?
I think I'm pretty consistent with my friends,
And being inconsistent.
but I think that's it's just something completely different. Like being consistent with your significant other and being consistent with your friends.
Totally different.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. So the first sign is an effort with contact and time. It has to be mutual, and one person shouldn't be putting forth all the effort, reaching out, things like that when you can't see the person.
So I've been told that I've been inconsistent
With
before in that area, but I don't believe I have.
Well,
Yeah.
I haven't been told, but I know that I can be inconsistent in the area. Because for me, and it's not a matter of like I don't do that whole thing where it's
That's
like
funny,
I want to
it's
see if you
opposites.
can right. I think my thing is like I don't want to see if you can miss me because I've been told that, right? I've been told like, well, I wouldn't contact you because I just want to see if you even missed me, and it's just like what? But I will be one of those people where in maintaining, my individuality, I won't like I'll just have a day to myself or whatever. Like that's just
Yeah.
me being
That's me too.
being Zara. Yeah. But I do feel like that's something that you have to have a discussion or communicate with that person. But most people off the early ain't trying to hear that. Like we in a honeymoon phase. Like we supposed to be getting to know each other as quickly as we possibly can.
Who said that? Whose rules are those?
That's what I say. Like
Yeah.
I don't think that's not my rule.
Yeah.
I don't feel that way because I think that that's the reason why I get so clouded by those sentiments, those actions.
Yeah.
Because when you stop doing them, I'm like, wait, what? Wait,
Oh,
What's
see,
happening?
you're a girl.
I
Oh.
am.
See, I'm gonna feel like so we can hang every day, talk every day, and all that. It's cool if it's genuine. If that's just the way that this thing went, right? Mm-hmm. But once it's a problem that we're not doing it, I'm gonna start to feel smothered.
Right. Okay.
Like,
And I can understand that.
yeah,
And there's a responsibility that's being placed on you.
right.
Yeah. I can understand that.
And so now it's like we don't do this no more. We don't do that no more. And now I'm kind of forcing myself to. And now it's not natural anymore. It's like now I gotta be intentional about seeing you every day.
Right.
I gotta be intentional
So-
about calling you every day.
Okay. So for
Like-
the audience, then what do y'all think about like?
I'm gonna sound like an asshole. I already know it. They gonna be
No,
like, screw
I
him.
just want to know. No, I just want to know from them. Like, well, do y'all think that like it is radical to pace yourself in the honeymoon phase? Like, do you think that it's not radical completely? Like, that's not the word I want to use only. Let's say, do you think there's any practicality in looking to have sort of a pacing sort of situation in a honeymoon phase? Or do you feel like you need to be able to dump everything there to get it all out of your system so that you can get to the meat and potatoes of a consistent relationship?
I don't even like how that sound. That
What,
second
the
one.
dump?
I don't think pacing yourself is practical. I think it should be practical, but I don't
But
think
it's just not.
Yeah, I don't think it is. But like dumping it all in, you just made it sound so bad.
Because I do feel like you're gonna get tired eventually. Like that's what happens. Like you ever heard women say something about the representative?
Yeah, you just said it to me a couple episodes ago.
Yeah, like the representative is a real thing. Like y'all want to bring flowers and all this other stuff, and then it's like soon that just kind of like dissipates, like you never see it again. And because you've started something, which is, it's not really fair necessarily, but my thing
It's
is, yeah, you've introduced a thing. Like,
Yeah.
I'm not gonna necessarily be like, you have to bring me flowers every day, but if I never see another flower after that,
Might not see it again for like a couple months.
I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
Sheesh.
As a matter of fact, I would rather that though than you bringing me flowers every Thursday while we're in the honeymoon phase, and then you never
Yeah.
bring me flowers again.
I think it slows down. So I'm being every Thursday during the honeymoon phase, and then I gotta wait a couple months, so it ain't a
Nah,
Monday
just
thing.
one time in a honeymoon phase. Then, y'all getting to know, like, my thing is, don't build up a routine. I think
See?
that when you build up a routine, that's when you set yourself up for
See?
failure.
So what we shouldn't do is let's not pay attention to any consistency in the honeymoon phase or any inconsistencies in the honeymoon phase, because we know both of us are just going through our infatuation, and we're just
Right.
So,
I think that that's practical, but like you said, I don't think
Yeah.
that we're going to do that.
But that's the thing. So I'm saying, don't hold me to anything in this honeymoon phase then,
Mm-hmm.
because we're just getting past the "I really like you" stage,
Mm-hmm.
and now we're getting to the life part of this relationship. And now you can start building up my resume on what I'm consistent and what I'm not consistent in. If that makes any
How
sense.
do you know when you've gotten out of the honeymoon phase?
When you're not, you're not. So I just really like this guy. I just really like this girl.
You don't even know why.
You just out of it.
Or
Like,
it's based off of the things that they're doing.
well, when the things that you was deeming consistent became inconsistent, like we don't
But
go
you
out all the time
said-
like we used to. That's why I said now start the clock. Now start the ticker,
But when do you know, though, to start it?
because that's when everything becomes inconsistent. So if he's been doing this every Wednesday, he's been bringing you lunch and this every Wednesday or whatever. Y'all been going out all the time. Y'all talk on the phone every night and this and that. And now it has slowed down to like, we still talk, but we don't really have the deep conversations we used to have. We don't have the hour-long conversations, and everything slowed down. Like, I don't get the flowers every Wednesday and everything. Like, now that we're more comfortable with each other, and we still like each other, but we're just not in that stage where like, oh, it's something new and shiny. Like when you get a new toy, you play with it a lot. People play with it. They play the game. You might get Call of Duty. They play the game for like 4 days straight. And the next thing you know, you ain't play it again for another 3 days. So once that inconsistency like breaks the mode, now
That's
start
when
the
you start
ticker.
again.
Now you're starting to see who each other really is.
Okay. I like that idea. I hope that people actually do it, but I doubt it.
I doubt it. I doubt it. But
Right.
I'm doing it though.
That's good.
I mean, I'm
think-
not keeping a ticker, but I'm not going all in. I'm not going to put my all in. I'm not going to put my best foot forward. Not to say that I'm going to put my worst foot forward, but I'm really going to pace myself when I'm really just dealing with somebody. I'm not going to.
So let me ask you this. Are you looking for red flags in the honeymoon phase?
I'm always looking for red flags.
Okay, good. I'm glad you said that because I do too. From day uno. So the next one of the signs is promise is kept. You should follow through and communicate. Like if I say I'm gonna do something, I should do it.
Yes. Let your yes be your yes and your no be your no.
There you go.
I fail in that area too sometimes though.
How so?
Well, I don't make promises,
Yeah, I was gonna
and
say,
I
I
don't
don't
swear to
think
God. But to me, like your yes, I just feel like what the scripture says. It says don't make a vow to God. It's better to not make a vow than to make a vow and break it.
So how do you
So-
feel like you fail though?
Because I don't make vows and I don't make promises. But if I give you my yes, it should remain yes. If I give you my no, it should remain no. So if I say I'm gonna do something, there's been times where I said I was gonna do something and I failed at doing it, or I forgot and
okay.
I didn't do it.
So
To
you're
me, that's
saying
the same
in
as
general.
Yeah.
You're saying generally. Okay.
yeah. Well,
I got you.
to me, not saying for anybody else. To me, it's the same as making a vow. Like if I give you my word on something, that's the same as making a vow to me.
I agree. I think that I live my life to that standard. I just believe that for me, it's a matter of communicating if I'm not going to be able to do it because, of course, life happens, right?
Yeah.
And you don't, if you put time restraints on things, because sometimes I find myself not putting a time restraint on it. So it's
Yeah.
like I'm not lying, but I just am not going to be able to do it today.
Yeah.
But I do feel like if you make a promise to somebody that you're not going to be able to keep, then communicating is worth more than gold to me. than just failing at it and then not saying anything.
Yeah, I think that's the best route to take. Like, of course.
Yeah.
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 To that could hurt a relationship.
It,
Any type
it
of
burns
relationship,
for
yeah.
me.
Any
Like, but
type
that's
of
just,
relationship.
yeah, I was going to say, that's
Yeah.
just anybody, like any
Especially
old person.
business. A business type. If you told somebody if this is business and you said you're going to do this and you don't perform.
Oh, man.
Yeah.
It's the worst. Yeah. Next one is actions speak louder than words, which I pretty much feel like that's the same thing. The promise is kept. Like,
Yeah.
because again, you make a promise, which is the word, and then the action is carrying it out.
Yeah.
So that being two different things just means that that's really, really heavy in my eyes.
Or just seeing, for things that you haven't verbalized, just seeing that you care. Just seeing,
Yeah.
like, I know you love me because of what you're doing. It's not because you said you was going to do it and you did it. But
Yes.
I just see how you're living out life with me, and I could tell that, yeah.
So in my research, that's exactly what they were saying. And that when they say the actions speak louder than the words, it's basically like carrying out your feelings more than it is making the promises. So
Right.
the promises are the promises. But I can't say like, I love you, I love you, I love you, but I never show you any like of
Right.
your love language, reception. So
And
that,
some people feel like your actions may show that you love this person, but you never say it.
right.
Is that fine?
I think it wasn't for me when I was younger because I didn't know what it meant.
Yeah.
Like my stepdad is very much a actions lover. Like,
Yeah.
He's a provider. So in providing things, that was his way of showing us like, one, he wanted to be there.
Yeah.
Two, he loved us, enough to make sure that we had these sort of consistent things, right?
Yeah.
Like lights and water. And,
But that's not really our thing to always say it. Like, we say I love you. Fellas, y'all can check me if I'm wrong. We say I love you for the woman.
mm-hmm.
Like, I'm not going to say it does absolutely nothing for us, but it's not.
Yeah, because that's not true.
What?
You can't say that because it's not true.
Not,
Because if you never heard your mother tell you that you loved you growing up, like you would be a whole other kind of individual.
but that's the thing. Like, I know a lot of people that grew up like that.
I know, and they're messed up. They will tell you that they are messed up by that,
Yeah.
and some of them don't know that they are, but they really are messed up.
Yeah. But
So male or female?
That's part of that male.
No, I'm just saying, but both.
Yeah.
Both
But
genders.
that's part of that hardness where, like, I love you. Like, I'm still doing everything for you. Like, but you don't ever tell me. Like, I keep this roof over your head.
Mm-hmm.
I slave every day at work, bring the food home, still rub your back. I do everything for you, and you just gonna be mad at me because I don't tell you I love you.
Mm-hmm.
Like, how about I tell you I love you and then I stop doing all this stuff? Would that suffice?
Well, we.
I'm just playing devil's advocate because that's what.
I got you. But what we learned in life is that you have to do it all.
Got to do both.
Mm-hmm. Like because her love language could be words of affirmation.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So it don't matter how many gifts you bring in or if the lights are still on or anything. Like if you never tell me that you love me, then it doesn't mean anything.
Tell me that you love me.
What song is that?
I don't know these white girls, man.
Hey, bro, you did a white girl last week, right?
I did. I be hearing them jumps on the commercials, the old commercials.
Yes. But yeah, so the next one.
And you thought it was Tevin Campbell.
Yes. What's this? How does that song go?
I can't remember.
Tell me that. I don't know. Anyway, the next one was even kill. Yeah. So you don't in showing consistency in a relationship, you don't want to be too hot or too cold. Continuing to like just basically have this fragility in your relationship, like. Okay, let's use.
I like it better when it's not
last,
an even kill.
But let's use an example from your last thing, the moving goalposts. Remember we was talking about that?
Mm-hmm.
Where it's like, damned if you do and damned if you don't.
Yeah.
That's what that means. Like, if I don't know, like, there's no real resting place in where we can parlay or where I can be. If you get mad if I do, if you get mad if I don't. Mm-hmm. Where am I supposed to be able to find consistency in your behavior if you're always hot?
You know what? I'm glad you said that.
Yeah. Why?
Because I think that was the one thing that I had against the sex part, of course. Every man knows that. That's not nothing. But I think that's the one thing, like the moving the goalposts, like always changing the criteria. I think women are very consistent and moving the goalposts.
Okay. Predictability.
Do you think y'all are aware that you're moving the goalposts though?
I ain't never did that to you.
You never did that to me, but we ain't never been boyfriend and girlfriend either.
That's what I'm saying. So I'm not able to cooperate in that because, I would tell you if it was one of those situations where I can remember like me saying that something was a thing and then moving it like, nope, it's not, gotta be quicker than that. I've never done that. Like I don't recall ever doing that.
So do you recall ever you wanting something and then the man doing it and you expected more?
If that was the case, I was never hot about it. I didn't go off.
Right.
I was able to communicate it.
All right.
Yeah, so there was a resting place.
How did they feel about it when you communicated it though?
I've never heard a man tell me it's never good enough for you. Like, what do you want from me? I've never heard a man say that to me.
See, yeah, I told you different, man. You just, I don't know.
I guess.
God made you with his fingertips. Like, yeah.
He's so crazy.
Everybody else, he just put the pile of clay on, pop, pop, like a snowman.
No, it's not true.
He actually designed you like, I'm gonna make this one smart. She's gonna be very aware. Like, yeah, he ain't do that for everybody. But go ahead.
Well, I just, like I said, I just don't recall it, and maybe they were just being too nice to me to say it. But I don't, I just like to own up if I remember it, but I don't remember that. The next one was predictability, but that's just kind of piggybacking off the even kill. But predictability just means like I know that you like certain things this certain way, and I'm not flying off the hinges, because things aren't that way or whatever. Like kind of being a soft place to land for that other person.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts on that?
I'm very predictable, I think.
When it comes to your emotions, right?
When it comes to almost everything, in regards to relationships, if you're trying to figure out my life, you ain't gonna do it.
Right. You just mean as far as like the way you show up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm very predictable because, so, in regards to people in relationships, I'm spontaneous if it all depends on me. Mm-hmm. But when it comes to people in relationships and I'm thinking about the other person, I'm task oriented because now I'm trying to make sure that you're straight. So if you're like, if I know that this is what you're looking at in me, I'm going to try to keep this up.
Gotcha.
This is what I'm going to keep up. And of course the goalposts will move later on down the line because what I'm keeping up will become mundane to you. It will become ordinary. And then I'll have to step it up in another area. But I'll just keep on. Mm-hmm. Just because that's when my C kicks in, my structural part kicks in. And I'm like, look, I'm doing exactly what you wanted me to do.
Yeah. And
you can be like, well, when are you going to just be smart and do more? Like, I'm like, you want consistency, right?
Right,
like, nah.
right. But no, that would be my issue only with predictability is just that, like, I do like it when I can, like, read my man and, like, know, like, what's going to, like, light you up and, like, what's going to, be irritating to you and all this other stuff. Mm-hmm. But I don't want it to be like a broken record.
Yeah.
Or a broken clock where it's only, it's right twice a day. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want it to be one of those situations where I'm like, well, it's Thursday, girl. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, we gonna have our date night and all sorts of stuff. Like, I don't think there's anything wrong with date night because I feel like that's holding a lot of couples together as we speak. Mm-hmm. But I think that it's important for you to have that conversation with your wife or your husband or your partner or whomever about the fact that it's becoming melancholic or becoming humdrum and it's starting
to be like, so what you want to do it on Saturdays? Like, so what you want to do it on Saturdays?
Right. But that could be a conversation instead of there being that sort of like resentment.
I'm like, all right, so we just
because I could have been more vocal on that. Like,
yeah.
I'm not trying to do that every Thursday. Like, I kind of don't want to do anything on Thursdays. Or...
So what you thinking? Like every other Thursday?
I could suggest something else. Like, well,
all right, let's have the conversation. Let's have the conversation.
Who are you? Me or you? No, okay. So what? Hey, it's starting to get a little boring. Us having date nights on Thursdays.
So you don't want to do them on Thursdays anymore?
No, I would like to have something more spontaneous. Like, it doesn't have to necessarily be every week, but if we do decide that we're going to do Thursdays, right, for the day that we hang out, then let's go do different things. And I don't want to always have to come up with what we do.
But you haven't been coming up with what we do always.
I have.
Okay. I got to go back to the drawing board then.
Exactly.
So let's just do something on Sundays.
Okay, then let's do Sundays. But when I start feeling like Sunday is becoming,
You gonna
you
move the
know,
goalpost on me again?
yeah.
All right, just let me know.
But that's not moving the goalposts
Nah, I'm
because
messing
that's
with
not a goal. That's a day.
Yeah.
The goalpost would be like, me telling you like we need to hang out once a week,
Yeah.
and I'm like, once a week is not enough. We need to do 4 times a week, and you're like, bruh, like,
All right, so this is what I'm thinking, right? So if we set a day to go out every week, it's like this is how I'm thinking of it. And I know you're not thinking of it like this because it wasn't communicated like this, but this is how I'm thinking of it.
Mm-hmm.
So like the spontaneous days or the spontaneity, wherever that kicks in at, it'll be exactly that. So like it could be the Wednesday before the Thursday that we go out, and I'll be like, hey, let's do this.
mm-hmm.
But the Thursday is like it's like our debrief day. Like we'll go out because this is how my burps think. No, we'll go out because we're just debriefing on the week. We're relaxing. We go to a nice chill restaurant. Might not even go to a restaurant. Might be a day that we go for a nice walk or something, but we really just get everything out and we can like reset the week or something.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I'm thinking when I'm thinking about something that's routine like that.
Mm-hmm.
Like it is something that's more therapeutic than it is something for romance or something to keep a relationship together.
I can
That
see
makes
that.
sense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
I can see that, and I do feel like, again, I think going back to the first one, effort with contact and time. I think that's that part. Whereas it's not on one person to do any one thing.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? So if I'm constantly the one who's suggesting dates, and you're just kind of like paying for them, then that can become one of those situations where it's like I don't want to suggest it all the time. You know what I mean? Like I kind of want you to see where you would just take me without me telling you where we're gonna go.
What if you don't like it?
What?
Like, all right, we're going to this place, and then when we get there, you're like, I don't have a taste
So
for
there
this.
are people like that for sure, but I don't feel like I'm like that.
I don't have a taste for this.
Right. And I feel like people who
don't really
are
want
that
this.
way, why are you playing? That's moving the goalposts.
I don't really want to go to McDonald's Playhouse.
Yeah, that's moving the goalposts, right? Like you
I don't
saying
know, because
like
it
I
was
want
never
you to
enough said.
pick, and then when you get there, you're like, I don't like this,
Oh, is that moving the
This
goalposts?
is dumb.
I guess that could be.
or being ungrateful. Because but wouldn't moving the goalposts be? And you correct me if I'm wrong. You say I want you to pick, and then that person picks, and then you're like you show this ungratefulness for
I
them
don't know.
picking because they picked, right? They
Yeah.
decided on something.
Yeah.
Would that be moving the goalpost? Because then
I don't
you
know,
asked
but
it to pick.
whatever it is, it's definitely bad. I tell you that. It's not acceptable.
Yeah, I don't think that's
Yeah.
acceptable behavior.
It's definitely not
Like,
acceptable. Like if you tell me to pick and I pick, especially if I put some thought into it.
Yeah, then you're gonna be like, I have had those times where I
Like,
was like,
look.
why the hell did I say this? But I don't say it to him because it's like, he's horrible at
Like
it.
I told you to pick and you told me you didn't want to pick.
But then I also feel like I want to be in a relationship where we can converse about the fact that was a horrible ass pick.
We could do that there.
Like, this is trash.
I could laugh about that. Like we could be
Yeah,
there.
like this is trash. Like, look at this place. Did you really think that this was a great place? And like he's laughing too. Like we're
I'm gonna
both
be like,
laughing
I'm
about
gonna
it,
be
but
like,
we're
no,
still there.
but I didn't think it was a great
Right.
place. That's why I
brought
came
you
here.
Right. See, that's what I want. Like that,
Yeah.
like that level of transparency. Where it's like I don't feel like you gonna constantly be in your feelings because I'm being honest with you about what's.
I would do
happening.
something like that though.
Take me to a horrible place.
Take you like Outback, and I don't even like Outback.
Oh God.
Just pull up there and act like I'm going in and just walk back to like, say, nah, we ain't going here.
Oh yeah.
I hate
See,
this
would,
place.
I would be like, oh yeah, it is trash. I don't have a problem with Outback though. I
And then
kinda
go to
like Outback
CC's.
sometimes.
And then go to CC's.
I feel like let's go back to Outback. If I'm gonna get food poisoning, please let me get it from Outback. But no, the next one is of signs. of partner showing consistency was the moving slowly. So as to get to know each other and nobody being in a rush. Like, so I've had experiences where I've been rushed. Like, it's time for me to get
That's what we was
married.
talking. I think that's the. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm thinking that's like the going through the. When you say moving slowly, that's what I was thinking about when you was talking about the honeymoon phase and everything.
But honeymoon
Right.
phases aren't slow. Honeymoon phases usually are very fast paced
Yeah.
because
So
everything's good,
gotta drag it
everything's
out.
light, everything's
Maybe
fun.
it'll be like a honey sun stage then.
honey sun.
Yeah, because the daytime is longer than the nighttime. So honeymoon is the fast. Honey sun is the only throwing out one.
Pardon me that leapt over my head, like the cow jumped over the moon. But no, you said the honey sun phase because it's long.
As long as a little bit longer, a little more drawn out.
No.
Oh,
Because it really is about the attraction, especially if you involve sex and like chemistry again, infatuation. Like you just
let's
want to
take the
get to
sex
know
out of
everything
it
about
because
that person.
we're not promoting sex.
Well, I'm just saying for people,
know,
like for
yeah.
other people who listen.
They not having sex either.
Okay. But no, that like if that was a thing, right? Then of course, like there's so many things and emotions and all that stuff that's just being thrown in that
Yeah.
blender. And some people don't be ready for that. Like, well, let's slow down. Like, slow down. That's why people, like, a lot of people get hurt too, is because they be like knee deep in their feelings about
Especially after you just got piped
yes,
and it was good.
yes, correct. I mean, but
know.
don't let anybody move you faster than you would like to go. If you find that somebody continues to try to move you along, that's a red flag.
Yes. But you gotta be real with yourself because some of them be wanting to be moved along.
But you might be that person. That was gonna be my next thing. If the other person is moving slow and you pressed, you might be the person with the red flag.
So if the person that's moving slow can't be the red flag person,
Well, so here's what I'm talking about in getting to know somebody. I'm not talking about nobody who's trying to be engaged for 20 years. Nah, we ain't talking about that.
yeah,
I'm talking about like if you feel like you've gotten to know the person for enough time, right? Like y'all have really gotten to know each other. And you know when there's stones that have been unturned and things like that. And we're not talking about the stuff that you learn like through life. Like I might have learned something about you last week and we've known each other for years.
yeah,
I'm not talking about that stuff. I'm talking about like stuff like, the person want to have a kid or not.
yeah.
If the person even wants to be a parent, if the person even believes in God, if the person, if that person want to have sex before marriage, if the person wants to, if they're like a creative or if they're like a more pragmatic or practical person,
Yeah.
like, things like that.
All right, so look, with you, not for anybody else, because some people don't have, not some people, we all don't have the same brain capacity, right? And so what you do with intentionals, because you're intentional about finding out who is who, what would be, if you was to just play the game with me,
Okay.
like an average amount of time it would take for you to get to know somebody before you get into a relationship with them?
For me to get to know them, after having experienced what I just experienced, I would probably take about a good 3 to 4 months and like just dating them, getting to know them. Unless they were like one of those people that was like super transparent, super open. Like you do have those situations where the chemistry and the consistency
everybody's
match.
always, it's something that everybody's always not saying though.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But I do feel like, especially going to this next point that I'll bring up, I do feel like there are certain spaces where you aren't going to be able to hide those red flags, even if they are, even if you have been trying. But when you get in certain spaces, you're just not going to be able to.
What if those spaces don't exist until you're in a relationship?
I experienced that. And I do feel like you just have to do what you have to do. Like everything is not going to be a winning shot. I don't think.
Yeah.
That's what I keep trying to like tell myself, even with that. Like, there's nothing wrong with you because it didn't work. Sometimes a person just isn't the person for you. It doesn't mean that they're not somebody for somebody else.
I just seen a post and I 100% agree with it.
Yeah.
Like I think that's why, not to say like I get over my relationships easily, but this is why I'm more encouraged to move on and everything, because I literally do look at everything like a lesson. But I just seen this post that said, we got to stop looking at our past relationship as failures. They all add something to us to like prepare us for the person that we're supposed to be with. And I 100% believe that.
I agree
like
too.
I've learned something from all of my relationships. Not that there's a lot of them, but
and that's
even
why
dating and everything.
And for real, that's why I'm so grateful for therapy, because when I started therapy, this was a while ago. I said that to my therapist, like, I just feel like there was so much wasted time. And she said that basically, like, there was a lesson in all of that. Like, there is no such thing as wasted time. And since then, I'm like, you absolutely right. I learned so much in the last relationship that I was in, like great things, what I mean? Like that. I can't even say like I'm giving him credit or anything like that, but I feel like that's where I was supposed to be. Like that's where God wanted me to.
That experience taught you that.
Yeah, and I'm going to be so much greater to whomever I end up with or whoever is next or whatever the case. Like I don't write myself off or like say like love isn't for me and stuff like that, because that's not it. You know what I mean? Like it's just like you'll do better next time because you've had a great experience.
So bitter. Like I don't even know how many women I've seen post Jones that be like, you did this for him, you helped this man get up and do all that only for the next woman to get the man you built. And I've
heard people I'm very close with say that.
I'm like, how arrogant how narcissistic are you to believe that you built this man to be who he is and now some other woman is getting what you built?
Excuse me. Yeah,
it's
gonna be some women who are gonna have something to say about that. If you are to post this, that they're going to be still upset.
I don't care.
Because they don't see themselves. No. I'm not saying because you should care.
Because I definitely don't.
Yeah, I don't care. But what I'm saying is they're still unaware of the space that they're taking up. They don't realize the selfishness in even saying that and how the world doesn't stop or start with them.
And they not even clearly they haven't learned from the relationship because they still trying to hold on to something they feel they built.
But that's that piece that they just can't get over, and until they are able to get over that piece, then they won't be able to even link with. Like I know a lot of women who say niggas ain't shit, who really expect to be with somebody.
Yeah.
Like how is it possible that you say that, put that out there, and you think you're gonna be in a successful non-toxic relationship? But that's the delusion.
That's all them Kevin Samuel haters.
I don't want to talk about him.
Nah, but that's real. But I don't feel like any woman built a man.
No. Like a man ain't built a woman.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think we're just learning from each other. Like we're just iron sharpening iron.
That's it.
You got the sparks, they gonna fly. Like
well, some women would disagree. They be like, that he was a bum before I met him.
I do feel like there are upgrades, but I don't think that I think it's beyond. It's much bigger than us, and we do try to take a lot of credit for that. But I do feel like we do upgrade or help to.
I think you did your job in the sense of if he was your husband, that's what you were supposed to do. You gave him
and a lot of
wifely opportunities.
And a lot of us are mad at ourselves though.
Yeah. And put in
because we did more.
Yeah,
because didn't we talk about that though?
I don't think so.
How some of us we go above and beyond. So we do treat these men like they are our husbands when they're just our boyfriends, and that's really all they're going to ever be. Exes.
Yeah. Well, I ain't gonna say that's all they'll ever.
So there's a level of bitterness that comes from that.
Dang, that's crazy because I never held that.
Not that you,
Like I treated my exes like potential wives, like they was wives, but I don't regret it. Like I have absolutely no resentment.
But I think you understand your position in the world too.
Yeah.
Maybe. You think so?
Do I understand my position?
In a sense of like you not being bitter because you really like no, like if you are teaching them a lesson, it's because you're just a vessel for that lesson more than you are the person who's teaching the lesson.
It's exactly. It's no point to be bitter. Right. So like for both of my relationships, I knew that it would be better for me to end it. For both of them, both of my last two, I knew it would be beneficial for the both of us, for us to go our separate ways, because I realized like there's nothing that she's benefiting from this, and there's nothing that I'm benefiting from this at this point in time. So there's no point of us keep trying to drag it along. We have to separate, or we're just going to keep dragging each other down. And I was like, nah, it ain't. It's no point of that.
Yeah, I'm definitely with a clean break.
Yeah.
The next one was family and friends, and that's why I was saying that, you know, there are certain spaces where you can't front, like you can't pretend like you
Yeah.
don't have those red flags, because I feel like when people introduce you to their friends and family members, which in the article that I was reading, it was talking about how like it is that slow walk, right?
Yeah.
You don't want to get into necessary relationships where that person is kind of like dumping their inner circle on you, and vice versa. But if you never see that there's a progression, that person never introduces you to like their friends or their family members and so forth and so on, then that can be like a red flag. But what that
What you
does
mean
is
dumping the inner circle on you though?
so I just mean like, you know, placing you in situations where like you're the like they don't even tell you, like you know, you just kind of like a fish out of water.
I think that's on you.
I've done it before. That doesn't mean it's not toxic.
I don't know if it is. So I don't know. That's a tough one. I don't
I
know
don't
if that's
introduce people into my inner circle if I don't trust them.
yeah. So that's what I'm saying.
Period.
I don't think it's toxic. So if you're going to become a part of my life, this is a part of my life.
Right.
So
That's me.
if you get into this circle and then it's a whole bunch of gorillas and then you the dolphin, I don't think it ain't my fault that you the dolphin. They just exposed that you the dolphin now.
Period. Period. And I feel
Yeah.
like, again, going back to even, you know, me being consistent, that was me participating in consistency by bringing that person into my world. Because you don't, again, I am one of those people where I can be an onion. I have these layers.
Yeah.
And for real, I know how to keep people at bay.
You like an
so
infinite
if I
onion.
bring,
You're like an infinite onion.
I am. And I don't want to talk about that right now. It's
All
like,
right. All right. We'll keep that on the wraps.
no, but I really am though. That's just that, right? And maybe
Yeah.
when you interview me or whatever, we can get to that point. But if I do know how to keep somebody at bay. I do know how to keep that person to myself. But if I do bring you into the fold, that's me showing you that level of consistency. That's me being able to connect you to people who, for real, are going to hold me accountable to that, or hold the relationship to some regard where it's like, how is he doing?
Yeah.
Because I've been in relationships that ain't me nobody. As a matter of fact, there was a very long period of time where people was like, Dara, do you
really have a boyfriend?
yeah. Or
You never met
have
this
you
guy.
ever had a boyfriend? You know what I mean? Like that sort of thing. And it's just like, yeah, but you know, I don't like to introduce people to folks because they do ask about them. And if I know that it ain't gonna go nowhere, like I'm not introducing you to nobody now.
Why not? I still be like, oh yeah, that's dead. I don't
like people asking me stuff like that. Again, onion.
I don't be having no problem with it. If you ask me, hey, what happened with Slime? Oh yeah, that's dead.
Right.
And that's it.
And that's it.
They'll be like, oh damn, all right.
But you don't keep a lot of girls around you anyway.
I don't.
So when you do introduce people to your people, it means it's a significant thing.
That's because I don't have a lot of girls. So like the
Yeah.
ones I introduce are all the ones I have.
But I think it's because you don't let a lot of girls in.
I don't deserve to be in.
Here we go.
You know what you got right
Here
here.
we go,
hey?
people.
Oh, yeah, you gotta earn. You gotta earn in over here.
Okay.
What you laughing at?
I'm just laughing because you're crazy. Tips to help with consistency. Are you ready?
Yeah, I'm looking. You got what, 8?
8 tips.
All
Yeah.
right, help me out.
1, communicate. Communication is the biggest thing. Even if you're mad
That's
at
the
somebody,
hardest.
it's the hardest thing because everybody don't know how to communicate.
Yeah.
But that's what they need.
And you got 2 different people that come from 2 different backgrounds, for 2 different understandings of what communication is. Communicate 2 different ways. Some of us have troubles communicating with ourselves. So how you going to communicate with somebody else?
That's deep.
Like,
You know how to talk to yourself. How you know how to talk to somebody else?
You don't understand your own emotions. Like you can't even articulate what you're feeling. You don't know what it is you're going through in life. Like you don't even know whether you're grieving, whether you're not grieving. You don't even know how to
know what's
communicate
going
with
on with
yourself.
you.
Yeah, so how you going to communicate with somebody else?
Yep.
Like you can't communicate to yourself your own baggage and your own trauma. Like you're ignoring that you legit have 6 kids, 6 baby daddies, and you're expecting just to walk into a relationship with a guy that wants 6 kids by his woman. Like you can't even communicate that. Look, I understand that this might be an issue.
Can't do
Or-
it.
So how you gonna communicate with somebody else? Like
Agreed.
you're not being real with yourself. You can't be real with somebody else.
Agree.
I think communication is way too. It's hard. Like I said a couple episodes ago. I don't even think you could like effectively communicate with a significant other that you only been with for like 5 months. Like y'all are still learning each other
Agreed.
a lot. Like you still got a whole long way to go.
I agree with you.
But go ahead.
I
I'm
think
sorry.
I think it is possible to have like to get to a level in 5 months, but I think that it requires so much transparency. And the thing that's second, which is the second tip, which is connection. And that's why I push that so much, is because even when you can communicate what you feel, because maybe you don't know really how to,
Yeah.
if you have a connection to somebody, and this is not chemistry, but a deep level of connection with somebody, then you're willing to figure it out.
Yeah.
And I know that because I feel like I have a connection with my friends. It's different than what I want to have with my man, but I have a connection with my friends. And there are times when I'm like, I don't get this. I don't like it. I don't want to do it, but I'm going to do it because I'm connected to you.
Yeah.
That's what I need to feel with my man. And it's actually on a deeper level, because I feel like there has to be, if like I should want to talk to you.
All right. So give me your definition, your differences between chemistry and connection.
I think chemistry is very simple in a saying that, like, okay, so you can be having wonderful sex with somebody.
You just had to go to sex.
Well, I'm just because
right,
I'm
you
giving
go
you like a
ahead.
physical
Yeah.
thing, something like
I'm a
that's
man,
not
so
that
that's
deep.
what I would understand.
Right.
I'm
You can have
stupid.
wonderful sex with somebody and just be chemically, like y'all chemically, like the sex is bomb, you know, all this other stuff, but there's really no connection. It's like once you're done there,
Yeah.
you go home. Like,
Y'all got a sexual chemistry with no connection.
Yep. I don't want to necessarily call you, like, and when I do, it's just for that. Like, I just need that itch scratched,
Yeah.
and that's it. You can also have chemistry with people who you're not even romantically, you know,
Involved
interested
with.
in. Yeah. Like, you're not interested in them though. Like, it's certain teachers, or like sometimes you go meet somebody grandma and you're like, I love your grandmother. Oh my gosh. Like, people have really
I
good
got
chemistry with my mother.
Yeah.
They like love my mom. Like, I'm just gonna call her. Like, my friends call
So
my
I'm
mom.
just gonna call her. Yeah.
Yeah, my friends call my mom without me being like, I don't have to facilitate their relationship, like nothing.
Yeah.
Like, they literally just have that chemistry
relationship.
with her. But that doesn't mean that they necessarily have a connection, in a sense of I don't know that they would feel necessarily moved if they didn't call her, you know, for months at a time or whatever
Yeah.
the case. You know what I mean?
Got you.
Some of them are connected in that way, but some of them, they just have that chemistry. Like, every time they see each other, they, you know, there's a lot to talk about. There are things to
Yeah.
do and so forth and so on. So when it comes to connection with my man, for me, it's a matter of, you know, even when I don't like him, I still want to do things with him and for him and around him and so forth and so on.
Can you have a connection with somebody that you don't have a chemistry with?
Ooh, that's good. I think so. I think you can.
Do you have to have chemistry first in order to even find out if you have that connection?
I do think so. Yeah, connection. I think connection is it's such a deep thing that it's not something that you can know off books. Like, you
Yeah.
can't just know that you have a connection with somebody. Connection.
You ain't
almost
never
is
met
that
with
love,
somebody
that
and you was
guttural,
like, we here. Like, you're my friend. You never met somebody like that and you just connected instantly? So I believe you could then. Without having that chemistry, you was just like, you're her. Or like, you
but
know
I
what?
think
You're
that
him.
is a spiritual thing.
You're my guy.
Yeah, I think that's spiritual
Yeah.
though. I think that's a God connection.
Yeah.
But I think that that's important for me in a relationship.
To have that God connection. That's it should be.
It's apparent.
Because you know what you don't want to have?
What?
You don't want to have like a secular connection with your man, and then you got a God connection with somebody who's not your man. That'll be
Yeah.
tough.
That would be tough.
Yeah.
I don't want that at all. The third tip is don't say it if you don't mean it.
Don't say it on it if you don't mean it.
Number 4 is respond to needs. Be a source of support. Number 5 is follow through. Like, you know, you say you're going to do it, you do it. Number 6 is be honest and forthright. That's tough for me.
What?
Not to be honest, but
Oh,
that being honest and forthright, like, to me, I always feel like it's like after school special when people be like, just be honest, because I don't feel like everybody is honest.
So how is it hard for you then? You're
Just
honest.
just for that to be one of the things, because I don't feel like everybody is honest or forthright. Maybe it's the forthright that's throwing me.
So I don't think a lot of people know how to be forthright.
That's what I mean.
But honest.
Mm-hmm.
So I think everybody has a capability to be. Of course, everybody has
I don't think
capability
everybody
to be
want
honest.
honesty either.
No, they don't. Like we lie to ourselves sometimes. Like when we know like something's not here, but we just want to believe that that's what you do.
I've done it.
Oh,
I'm not doing it right now.
you're doing it right now.
I said I'm not doing it right now.
Oh, well, so you was lying to yourself.
I've lied to myself before, which is the most dangerous thing that you could possibly do.
Period.
Yeah. Lie to me, don't lie to yourself.
Yeah.
But yeah, lying to yourself is the worst thing you could possibly do.
Run them again. Don't number them. Just go down the list.
All right, we got communicate.
Mm-hmm.
You need to have a connection. Don't say it if you don't mean it. Respond to needs. Follow through. Be honest and forthright. And the last two is avoid patterns you can't maintain. So that was with the whole like bringing me flowers every Thursday for the first month, and then you just don't.
You can't tell me something like that. Like you cannot tell me something like that.
Why?
Because I'm too analytical in my own mind. I'm gonna be like, I'm not doing nothing. Like I'm gonna make sure I'm committing to whatever it is that I'm gonna start. You like, look, don't do something you can't maintain. I'm be like,
Like if you tell
I
your
know
partner,
I'm gonna forget to give her flowers, so I ain't doing this. Like I'm dead
that's
serious.
not it though. It's because you should forget it that next week. That's the thing.
What
Like
in the world just happened?
well, okay, no, this is what I'm saying. This is what I'm talking about.
All right.
Creating a pattern, it means that you do something every time, like consistently every time, right?
Mm-hmm.
But if you're not going to be able to consistently do a thing, then you don't create that space for it. So if I wouldn't buy you flowers on every Thursday. I would buy you flowers on the one Thursday, and then maybe the next time you get them, it might be a Tuesday, or it might be a Saturday, or I may not get you flowers,
Or
for another, yeah, like that type of thing. Like if I know that I have a job that demands me to be at work, and I have a free week, and I bring you lunch, then I wouldn't for that next week I wouldn't take off to bring you lunch again, because I don't want you to get used to me bringing you lunch.
I got you.
Because that's not something that I can maintain.
I see everything with me be a one-time thing then.
And that's
It's
okay.
like, nah, I'm just joking.
That's
I'm just
okay. Because then she didn't get used to it. Maybe you said that about the I love you, like tell her early.
Yeah.
Like then she's not used to it. Like it's not one of those things where I've been
Yeah.
waiting so long to hear you tell me you love me. Now you
And
gotta
that,
keep
now
saying
it
it.
means too much. And I'm
Yeah.
like, God dang it, I think I screwed myself.
Yeah.
What is too early for somebody to tell you they love you?
It's not too early for me because I tell people that I love them all the time. And it's not hard for me to love people. It's hard for me to like people.
I'm talking about somebody that you're dating.
It's not.
So if you went on a date with somebody and then the second date they told you they love you, you wouldn't have a problem with it.
Well, I wouldn't think that it was true that they were in love with me, but they could definitely tell me that they love me because I mean I'm lovable. So I wouldn't think that they're lying.
Yeah.
I have clients literally don't know their last name sometimes, and they be like, "I love you." I be like, "I love you too."
I'm
Like,
not talking about like that. I'm talking about y'all on a date. You be like, you know what? I love you.
yes, but that doesn't mean I wouldn't take it. So there are different types of love. I wouldn't take it as
What if he's giving you
Eros.
like what if he give you like the puppy dog eyes? He like melting in the seat. Like, man, I just
Well, then
love
I would
you.
be like, "You don't love me. You don't know me."
It sound like a movie.
Yeah.
You don't love me. You don't like. No, I really do. I really
And then
do
I'll be
love
like,
you.
"Okay, well, we'll see."
I would run.
You would.
Hell yeah. I'm
But
like,
then you
uh-oh,
would be
this
getting it
nigga-
from a girl too.
This girl is crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, you be getting it from a girl.
Yeah.
I've never told a guy off books that I loved him. We were definitely together for a while. Even if we weren't in a relationship, like in a committed relationship, we were
Yeah.
like just like friends and like getting to know each other and all this other stuff. Like I've told him that I loved him, but it wasn't one of those things where it was like I was expecting for him to say it back.
That's a tough one right there because
It is a tough one.
people, I don't believe nobody's saying it like without expecting somebody to say it back. I mean, I'm not, but I just refuse to believe that everybody's like that. I believe most people, like when they say it, they're expecting you to say it back.
Mm-hmm. Have you ever had that happen to you?
What, that nobody
Where
said
you
it back?
said, yeah, where you say I love you to somebody and then you say it back. Like
Yeah,
not 'cause
my
they didn't
girlfriend
hear
did it
you.
before.
Oh, okay.
When
But
they
she was
get
like,
when they
"Thank
get
you."
mad, nah, yeah, when they get mad, they won't say it back. They'll say, "Okay."
But that's
Thank you.
because she mad.
I know.
So yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, where it wasn't like a romantic thing. Like you just literally was just like, Lance, like I love you.
I never had a girl say that to me like that.
A guy.
Oh, the homies?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Just walk away.
We got the machismo. I love you, though. It's like, man, I love you, bruh.
Mm-hmm. So do you expect for them to say it back to you?
We just do it. So now it's a different generation now. Now we all the homies that I say I love you to, like now most of the time they the ones saying it first.
Okay.
So hey,
I don't know.
Back
I
then,
definitely had times
nah,
where I
niggas
said
weren't
I
doing
love you
that.
to somebody and they have not said it back, and I was just
Your
like,
friends,
family, clients.
yeah, some people just they ain't grow up like that. They ain't even raised like that to say
Yeah.
it. So
But
know,
but
me and my
also it
homies
could be
ain't
the
do it for the
source
longest.
too. It could be the
Yeah.
source. Like it's coming from me. I don't necessarily feel like you have to say it back because it doesn't devalue my love that you don't reply
Right.
with "I love you." Like it doesn't make my love better because you've replied that you love me too.
yeah, it makes my love strong. I'm like, oh yeah, you love me too.
Oh, all
I'm gonna
right.
outlove you.
Yeah, no, don't make me.
That's why I be like, I love you more.
Right. I say I love you more too. I don't say it to you because it would be a whole match. And I should be like, I would just like
Oh,
laugh
yeah?
out loud.
Yeah. Oh yeah, let's see.
Right. The last tip was be consistent, which is funny that the tip for to help with consistency is to be consistent.
It's to be consistent.
Yeah, like just do it.
Yeah, I think that like be intentional about it. Look, I had an idea when I was in the house. Not in the house. When I was at work, I don't even know why this came to me, but I was just thinking about us. Like if we was a vehicle, a car, which part of the car you in regards to being consistent? Which part of the car would you be?
I'd be the gas pedal.
You'd be the gas pedal. That's
You
what
be
I
the
had thought
engine.
at first. I thought she would be like. At first, I thought I was like she would be the gas pedal, or she would be like the gear shift.
Yeah, I'd be the gas
Yeah.
pedal and you be the engine. What do you say?
I don't think I'd be the. I thought I'd be like the steering wheel because
Okay, I can see that because you got a
I'm
high D.
inconsistent. I'm consistent, but I'm inconsistent. Nah, because like you could turn the steering wheel to the right, and it still won't go right if you already had it turned to the left too much. And so like you could still, I'm still going to get us to where we're going. It's not going to look the same ever though.
But it's still the steering wheel has to like we can't go in any direction if you don't move.
Right.
So
I'm always moving. It's just never looking consistent.
oh no.
Like so, say we drive around this neighborhood, right? There's different routes to get to this house. You could take any route to get to this house. Even if you took the same route to get to this house, like if we started right here and just went in a loop, you still wouldn't turn the steering wheel the same amount of degrees to get here. It'll always be something different every time, but you're always going to get there.
Yeah.
That's how I am. Like I'm not consistent to where
But I
you
think
can
that
measure me.
I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
I just want to acknowledge that. But I think that you're now putting it into the driver. So that's the driver that makes that you're just the steering wheel.
Yeah.
So you need the driver to drive, but as a steering wheel, the way how much they turn it and all this other stuff, that's not your problem. Your problem is that you have to be able to move in order for the car to move.
You want to get technical.
I'm just telling you.
All right.
Because, I mean, that's...
Well, I'm the windshield wipe. Say that.
Right. But why did you say that? Okay, so I get why you're the steering wheel, but why did you think that I was the gas pedal?
Because it's only one thing with the gas pedal. Once it goes down, you go,
Your speed.
you're going forward. That's it. Yeah, you're going forward. You press it harder. You're going faster. You just structure like that. That's what I said. The gas there is no other way with the gas pedal. Like you can't push the gas pedal and stop.
No.
And like even like with the gear shifts or whatever, if you put it in neutral, car's gonna be in neutral. You put it in drive, you're going forward. You put it in reverse,
Right, it's very
you're
direct.
going backwards.
Like,
Yeah. It's very you don't have to guess. You don't have to like estimate. Like with a steering wheel, you got to estimate how much you got to turn. You put this down in reverse. You ain't got to guess which way it's gonna go or any of that. It's
Okay,
just,
I see what you mean.
Yeah.
Even with the steering wheel.
Yeah.
Okay. Very interesting. I like that metaphor.
Yes.
What made you think of a car, though?
I don't know.
Okay.
I was just thinking about consistency, and I just pictured like the inside of a vehicle when I was at work earlier. I don't know where it came from.
I like it.
Yeah.
I do. Okay, what songs in your head right now?
Ghetto life. Ghetto life. Rick James.
Yeah.
Ghetto life. I don't know why.
I
It
love
wasn't
that
there at
song.
first until you just asked me.
I know,
And I
that's
was like,
weird.
let me think of a song. And that's the first song I thought of.
My song is, for some reason, Lil Kim's "Do You Hear Me Now."
How'd that go?
Do you hear me now? Dun, 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 dun.
I definitely don't know that.
It was on this. It was on this album. I think it's called La Bella Mafia.
I definitely don't know that song.
Like all of us. What she say?
It
All of
must
a
be
sudden
cranking
everybody
'cause you
wanna
still
bang with
going.
us. Yes. I can't rap it, but yeah, that's in my head. So what's up with the next topic? You want to pull it? Want to
Let's see.
decide what
Yeah,
we
let's see
gonna
what we
be
got.
talking about?
I preserve topics. Ooh, which one? The big one or the little one?
The big one. I'm gonna take the little one.
You said like the little big one. All right. I should have picked the big one. It's gonna be hard to unfold. Is love enough? Ooh. Ooh, I think we already answered it, but we're gonna go into it. Is love enough? That's what the next topic is.
Bet. So, where can they reach us, AJ?
They can reach us at Deep Skydiving Podcast at gmail.com and Deep Skydiving Podcast on TikTok and YouTube and Instagram.
Thanks for engaging us too on those platforms.
Yep.
We appreciate y'all for sure.
Keep on loving us so we can keep on loving you.
We love y'all.
Yeah, subscribe, comment, like, share, all the good
dislike.
stuff. Yeah. And let us know what y'all think, man. Let us know what y'all feel, how y'all feel, whether you agree, whether you disagree. If you want to hear us hit on something, whatever, I don't know. Let us know something.
Yeah.
Sheesh.
If you want to be on the show.
Yeah, if you want to be on the show.
Yep. So,
Make
in the
you
meantime,
famous.
y'all, what we gonna tell them to do? Make it work.
How you gonna make it work, man?
Peace. We love y'all.
Peace.